Hi. So I'm going to start a new series on interesting integrals. So mostly what we'll be doing here is looking at very interesting or difficult integrals and how to calculate them. So this series should solve all your problems about how to integrate in different situations. And I hope it will be very exciting for most of you guys. So the first example that we'll start off with is actually not a very difficult integral. We know from standard calculus that this integral will simply be tan inverse x, and when you evaluate it from 0 to infinity, it becomes pi by 2 minus 0. So pi by 2. So why am I posing this question as my first question in this series, right? So the reason is obvious. The reason is that you want to see how this particular integral was actually derived, and I want to show you when it was actually derived by this Italian mathematician called Fagnano. It was derived in 1700s, and at that time he derived it without using this function. So without even any knowledge of integration, just by differentiation itself, you can get this. And it's a very clever trick that I want to show you here. So what he did was he imagined a circle of radius 1. Okay. So the length of the arc on that circle, length of an arc on that circle would be L is equal to r theta, where theta is this angle, right? L is equal to r theta is this simple identity on the length of the arc of this circle. Now, suppose the radius of the circle is 1. Therefore, L will become equal to theta, right? Now, what Fagnano did was very clever. He wrote theta as integral of 0 to theta d theta, right? Or actually, you can just write a dummy variable dt. 0 to theta dt, this value is going to be theta. So basically, he has the equations L is equal to 0 to theta dt. And this is basically a 1 here. What he will do is now he will play around with this 1 and he will make it more complicated. So let's see how he will end up getting this integral from here. So I'll do it on the next page. So here L is equal to integral 0 to theta dt, and he writes it as 0 to theta 1 by cos square t divided by 1 by cos square t, which is also 1, right? Now he transforms this further. He writes this part as basically sec square t dt, and this part, this 1, he writes as sine square plus cos square, sine square t plus cos square t by cos square t, right? So now suddenly you're getting a new integral which looks like this: sec square t dt divided by 1 plus tan square t, right? You can see that this will be 1 plus tan square t. Now, if you take tan t as a new variable, then obviously dx will become sec square t dt, right? Sec square t dt. So what I can do here is, if tan t is x, putting the limits when t tends to 0, x tends to 0, and when t tends to theta, x tends to tan theta, right? So this integral can now be transformed and it looks like this: tan theta is equal to basically from 0 to tan theta, and this is dx by 1 plus x square, right? Dx by 1 plus x square. Now, this result is what Fagnano will now play around with. He will say that if my theta on the circle was pi by 2, then you are basically talking about a quadrant of the circle, and tan theta basically then tends to infinity. So if it was a quadrant of the circle, what was the length of the arc of a quadrant? Length of the arc would be 2 pi, radius was 1 divided by 4, right? So that is simply pi by 2, right? Understand this point carefully. L is equal to 1 into theta. So if theta was pi by 2, L must be pi by 2, obviously. So you get the result pi by 2 is equal to 0 to tan theta is infinity dx by 1 plus x square. and instantly you can get many other values of this integral without ever solving it. So for example, using the same equation, L is equal to 0 tan theta dx by 1 plus x squared, and thinking about the circle of radius 1, you can say if theta was 60 degree or pi by 3, right? The L is 1/6 of a circle, right? L is 1/6 of a circle, so that is 2 pi by 6, so pi by 3, right? So you get pi by 3 is equal to 0 to root 3 dx by 1 plus x square, correct? You similarly get pi by 4 is equal to 0 to 1 dx by 1 plus x square. So notice that this is a very clever trick that he has done. He has not actually used any integration knowledge here. He has just used differentiation and this circle. He knows how to differentiate tan theta. Once you know how to differentiate tan theta, he has transformed this integral 1 dt from 0 to theta, right? 0 to theta, and he has converted it to an integral like this, 0 to tan theta dx by 1 plus x squared. And that tells you the values based on the length of the arc here, this arc length. Since arc length will be equal to theta in case your radius is 1. So that is an auspicious starting point for our series. And what I will be doing over the next few weeks is show you many different integrals, many different tricks. The next one that we'll actually look at is basically called the Dalzell integral. Dalzell's integral looks like this. This is a very famous integral that appeared in around the 1940s, and it is this integral, x power 4 1 minus x whole power 4 divided by 1 plus x square. Now this integral is wonderful because it gives us an estimate of pi, gives us a good estimate of pi. Now you would ask, how can this be related to pi, right? So first of all, let's try and evaluate the integral. What you can do here is simply multiply x power 4 and 1 minus x whole power 4 and then divide by this, by long division. So if I do that, x power 4 into this binomial expansion is what? 1 minus 4c1x plus 4c2x square minus 4c3x cube plus 4c4 x power 4, right? This is 1 minus 4x plus 6x square minus 4x cube plus x power 4. And that is being multiplied by x power 4 outside, right? So just multiply it out, you get x power 8 minus 4x power 7 plus 6x power 6 minus 4x power 5 plus x power 4. And now I have to divide this by 1 plus x square. To long division, I will not do the division actually. I can do that, but I'll just leave that to you. You will get x power 6 minus 4x power 5 plus 5x power 4 minus 4x square plus 4 minus 4 by 1 plus x square. So this is my value of this expression expressed as a polynomial, right? Now it is an easy integration to do at this stage. So if you integrate it, you get basically the value of x power 7 by 7 minus 4 x power 6 by 6 plus 5 x power 5 by 5 minus 4x cube by 3 plus 4x minus 4 tan inverse x. And evaluating this 0 to 1, you will see that it turns out to be actually something very interesting. This becomes basically 1 by 7 minus 2 by 3 plus 1 minus 4 by 3 plus 4 minus 4 times pi by 4, right? Minus 4 times pi by 4, so pi, right? And if you calculate this expression here, right, this becomes 22 by 7 minus pi. So that is very interesting. So what we are getting eventually I is equal to integral 0 to 1 x power 4 1 minus x whole power 4 divided by 1 plus x square dx is turning out to be 22 by 7 minus pi. Now, this tells us one thing. The first thing it tells us is that pi is less than 22 by 7. Why does it say that? Because this integral is always positive. You can see that the function here is entirely positive. So it cannot have a negative area from 0 to 1. So that means this quantity is positive, and that means that pi must be smaller than 22 by 7, right? However, it gives us more information than that. And someone could ask you to get a more sharper estimate of pi from here. So what can we do? How do we estimate pi in a nice way here, right? So let's think about it. What we can do is we can say that x power 4 1 minus x to the power 4 by 2, right, is going to be less than x power 4 1 minus x to the power whole 4 by 1 plus x square. Why is that true? Because 2 is always bigger than 1 plus x square in this range 0 to 1, right? So it must be, the whole thing must be smaller than this, right? Also, correct, also you can say that this thing will be less than simply x power 4 into 1 minus x whole power 4, right? When you divide by 1 instead, right? So you have these two inequalities which are true. So therefore, the integral from 0 to 1, an integral from 0 to 1 here, an integral from 0 to 1 should also satisfy these inequalities, because this is a lower function. So it should have lesser area under the curve, and this should have a higher area under the curve because it's higher than this, right? Now that just tells us many things, because we can evaluate this integral fairly easily. The same process, just expand it out and integrate. It will be half into 1 by 5 minus 2 by 3 plus 6 by 7. I have done this calculation before, so I'm just writing the answer. I'm sure everyone can follow this part. Is less than this, we have just now evaluated 22 by 7 minus pi, and this is less than 1 by 5 minus 2 by 3 plus 6 by 7 minus half plus 1 by 9, right? Now, this value is coming out to be 1 by 630 and multiplied by 2. So 1 by 1260 is less than 22 by 7 minus pi is less than 1 by 630, right? So changing the inequality signs, what you will get basically is a nice condition on pi. So 22 by 7 minus 1 by 630 is less than pi, is less than 22 by 7 minus 1 by 1260. So you can actually evaluate this to 3 decimal places, 4 decimal places. You get 3.14127 is less than pi, is less than 3.14206. So that is a fairly difficult approximation that we have gotten just by one integral. So generally in lower grades, you would have learned that 3.14159 is the value of pi, accurate to 5 decimal places. And we have proved that right now. See, this is 14127 and it is less than, this value actually is 3.14159. And clearly that is less than 14206, right? So we have been able to prove and get a very good estimate for pi just by doing this integral. And this integral has this name in honor of this guy called D.P. Dalzer, who was an English mathematician. He did some interesting work in the early 40s. So that's an introduction for our series on integrals, and stay tuned for more. I'll be back with many more interesting problems. Thank you.